It's kind of a safety hazard for students and other people who live around here.
Temple students reacting after watching crowds of teenagers who Temple police described as disorderly gathered on campus last night.
People running around, just loud noises, and yeah, it was pretty crowded on the streets. And I'm just walking, go to one of the stores, and I just see a bunch of craziness, like kids running amok, going wild, and yeah, it's insane.
The university sent out an alert to students to avoid the area near Broad and Cecil B. Moore.
Usually around like the weekends, a lot of big groups of high schoolers come around and they kind of just, I don't know, I wouldn't say cause a scene, but there's just a lot of them.
Students shared their cell phone video with us. One student told me his friend, a Temple senior, was knocked off his bike and ended up at the hospital. The university said there were several arrests and 3 Temple students were injured. Freshman Tio Strand grabbed this video from his dorm room.
So I was about to go outside and eat, but then I got a little bit scared, to be honest, so just stayed inside because you never know.
The university said incidents like tonight's are unacceptable. While we had no advance warning of tonight's gathering, TUDPS has been in regular contact with PPD regarding planned and unannounced juvenile gatherings. So we received an email at our news desk tonight from a concerned parent who was concerned enough to say she didn't want to send her student back to campus tonight. However, there have been a barrage of police, Temple University police, Philadelphia police, saturating this area to try to make sure an incident like last night's doesn't happen again. We're live in North Philly. I'm Joanne Pileggi, Fox 29 News.
Thank you, Joanne.
Tonight, no parole for Bunny Holmes. She's the woman convicted of orchestrating a murder in Huntington in 2004.
Yeah, she was originally sentenced to life with mercy, meaning she was eligible for parole after 15 years. That parole hearing took place last month, and Holmes was granted parole. But as discovered in WSAZ investigation, the Cabell County prosecutor said a scheduling error by the Department of Corrections led to an early parole for Holmes.
Anything to say to the Morgan family?
Shirlethia Bunny Holmes was stone silent from the moment she arrived and all
Shirlethia.
throughout the proceedings she had hoped would ultimately lead to her freedom.
Would you like to say anything to family members at all?
Instead, Cabell County Circuit Judge Chad Lovejoy ruled that Holmes is not eligible for parole until November of 2026.
She was getting credit. She was serving a federal sentence. She doesn't get 2 bites at the apple just for committing 2 crimes.
Holmes was convicted of ordering a hit on Wendy Morgan in 2004 and sent.
You white folk, we be goddamn, man. We be tearing you white folks out the frame, man.
Holmes was convicted of ordering a hit on Wendy Morgan in 2004 and sentenced to life with mercy, making her eligible for parole in 15 years. Exactly when the clock started ticking on those 15 years was the question behind the current legal proceedings. Holmes' attorney pointed to a resentencing hearing 2 years after her conviction, where Judge Alfred Ferguson, who presided over the Wendy Morgan case, said Bunny should be given credit for any time served for the murder.
You agree with me, the court speaks through its orders, right?
Absolutely.
So what is meant from this court is what is put down in those orders, right?
But prosecutor Jason Spears brought Judge Ferguson out of retirement and up on the stand, where he reiterated his original ruling that Bunny's prison term would begin only after she had already finished serving her time on federal drug charges in November of 2011.
Do you recall what your order was related to when she would serve her time and conviction on the murder?
Certainly, yeah. Well, she had a prior conviction in federal court, understood was drugs. And she was serving that sentence at that time.
That means Bunny's hearing in March, in which she was granted parole, is null and void. She'll have to do it all over again in November of 2026. The judge's decision obviously satisfied the prosecution's request regarding the Morgan case, but investigators say Bunny was also the focus of an investigation into the deaths of 4 teens in the 2005 prom night murders. Even
damn, they say she killed these teens too, man. But they couldn't prove it. She ain't leave no witnesses on this one. She killed all the witnesses, so they couldn't solve this one. Shout out to Bunny, man. God damn, Bunny. Shirlethia.
In the 2005 prom night murders. even though she was never charged.
Until I get to go to court and get some justice for my child, I'll never sleep on it.
And by the way, Wendy Morgan's aunt told us, even though it was so hard to have to go back and relive one of the hardest times in our family's lives, the relief I felt when I walked out was worth the sadness. I thank everyone who worked so hard to see that justice was served. Bunny Holmes' parole, as we say, denied today based on that miscalculation. What comes next, though, for Holmes?
It is a big question left to answer.